Something just went like pushed up against my back.
What was that?
Welcome to our next investigation, which is taking place at the Uplands Hotel in Great Shelford. The history of the place is extremely shady, with a lot of stories that are unanswered and maybe a lot of myths and legends as well. What we will be able to uncover when we investigate here later on. The Uplands Hotel lays in the quiet Cambridgeshire countryside, littered with graffiti and slowly crumbling away and being consumed by nature. So we've had a look online and asked local people about the history of the Uplands Hotel, and it's been incredibly difficult to find any concrete information about the history. We know that there was probably another mansion nearby called the Whitefields Manor, which was a private residence, and the legend goes that that was burnt down around the similar time as Uplands Hotel was. Whereabouts this other manor was, we've got no idea. It could have been literally down the road from there, it could be miles away, but it's somewhere in this local area. But like I say, as for any concrete history on the place, we really don't know, so we're kind of going in blind to this investigation. From the little information we've been able to retrieve, we believe that the hotel was built by W.H. Gaskell in 1893, where he lived up until his death at Uplands in 1914. From here onwards, the history becomes very confusing, mostly down to people's confusion between the Uplands Hotel and the nearby and now demolished Whitefields Manor. A number of stories have also sprung up detailing the events which led to the building's eventual demise. The most popular story is that a self-made millionaire named Mr Ratte, who was part of a successful IT company named Ratte Kett, owned both the Uplands Hotel and Whitefields Manor. The legend goes that after a massive row with his wife, he decided to burn both buildings to the ground and then proceed to block the driveway, preventing the fire brigade from extinguishing the fire, thus burning both buildings beyond recognition. Whitefield Manor was then bulldozed a number of years later, leaving the remains of Uplands Hotel as the only building remaining. How much of this story is to be believed is for you to decide, although it does seem too extravagant to be entirely true, and I believe it may be more of an urban legend. Unfortunately, this is the only information we've been able to get, and hopefully we'll be able to either confirm or deny this story later on in the investigation. So you've been here before, James, to the mansion.
Yeah.
What was your first impressions of it?
It's huge. It's a massive, massive building. Pretty spooky inside as well, even in the day, because there's some parts that are completely pitch black.
There's just lots. Yeah, there's loads of little rooms dotted about. You just can't tell what they used to be used for.
No.
And it's obviously in a completely sorry state. Top floor's completely gone now.
Yeah. I'm surprised the chimneys are still standing actually, because how much wear and tear the rest of the building's had, especially since sort of fires and things. It's time. You can tell how long it's been standing there because there's trees growing out of the middle of rooms and things.
Yeah, long time it's been here. But yeah, must have been brilliant back in the day. You think, you know, it's a wonderful little secluded hotel in the woods. Must have been fantastic.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a little explore inside?
Yeah, Every time it's steps.
See where like the next level would have been, because these beams are like the flooring of
Yeah.
the next.
You can see where they slot in up there.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, this one is still intact, so like, I mean, they're fairly high ceilings.
You've got fireplaces still in, everything.
You can even see there's fireplaces up on the third floor, or the second floor up there.
Do you reckon that'd be where the stairs were?
During our walk around outside from the main hotel, we discovered a small cottage. Upon entering, we all felt a very strong and unpleasant presence. It was in this building that James had a very strange experience and felt as though whatever spirit was here was directly affecting him.
No, man. Ooh.
What was that?
That was fun. That wasn't that, because that'd be moving.
I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything behind you.
No, something just went like pushed up against my back. Oh man, honestly, that freaked me out. I'm telling you, man, I'm getting, like bad vibes in this room. I thought I saw someone in the room next door as well, and that's just freaking me out even more. That's happened.
You want to go out?
I'm getting like when you sort of like see something
Yeah.
and then you let your eyes adjust and it goes. I'm getting that, but like I'm seeing like people in the corner of that room, man. I thought it was like a little kid, like how someone's crouched now on the floor.
in this room we're in now?
In that room, in the corner by the window. Like no joke, I'm not even like trying to play this up with the camera. This is actually freaking me out pretty bad now.
Despite James believing something pushed his back and a very negative feeling, we didn't record any more activity, and due to the heavy rain, we were forced to stop filming. On the night of the investigation, we all decided to meet up and try and dig a little deeper into the history of the hotel and see if we could find any possible cause of a haunting here. So we thought we'd have a little look into the history of Uplands and Whitefields, and it's so confusing. You can go online and there's loads of websites that mention various bits and pieces about both buildings, but we've just sat here now and just said,
Yeah.
no one's been able to tie all the loose ends together. There's so many bits of information floating out there. You can't tell if it's true or not because there's no way to cross-reference it. So we thought we'd sit down now and try and have a little bit of an idea about the history, who owned it, what it was used for, try and work some bits and pieces out. And some of you might be thinking, why would we put this much effort into trying to work out the history of a certain place? Because we could very well just go there, do an investigation and work out why it's if it's haunted or not. But although we don't know for sure, what we're communicating with has some relevance to history, you know, goes to the past, whether it be residual or intelligent. From what we've experienced, I think it does still have some kind of relevance to historical events and things that have happened in the past. So if we go in there with the right mindset of who we might be talking to, who we might be communicating with, it'll be a lot easier maybe to try and work out different ways of trying to contact them.
I think it's also worth doing that so we make the most of the time we're going to have there. We're not just sort of going down obscure pathways when we're in a completely wrong area.
Exactly, yeah, and like I say, who's there? There's no point trying to, you know, talk to a spirit about the Second World War if they lived hundreds of years before it, you know. You know, so it does give us a little bit of insight into what we're actually heading into.
Gives us context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After spending a number of hours closely examining old records, reading about people's memories of the building, and generally scouring the internet for any information we could find, we managed to uncover some previously unknown information. So a number of hours later, I think we've finally kind of worked out the best history we're going to get about this whole place. We know for sure Uplands, the hotel, was built in 1893 by a guy called W.H. Gaskell, who was a physician in Cambridge, quite a famous man. He died in Uplands in 1914. Again, complete fact, he died in Uplands, a building that's still there. Meanwhile, Whitefields, the residence that was there, we can't find any information out whatsoever throughout all that period. At some point, I reckon 70s, 80s maybe, it was Uplands was owned by, don't know the names, but they were owned by a family who just lived there as a house. Then there was a guy called Ferrer, Mr Ferrer, who bought Uplands and turned it into a hotel restaurant, which is what it's most well known for. And he owned it for a while, but at the same time he went bankrupt, which is when the fire occurred at Uplands. Now this Mr Ratte character, who we mentioned earlier, completely fabricated. The electronics company never existed. It was completely made up. They'd just taken the name from the stonemasonry and put it into this situation and used Ratte almost as a cover story for Mr Ferrer, who burnt the house down for insurance reasons. So Ratte never really existed, which I think after, well, I think we've earned that little discovery after all this time spent doing this. Even with this new information, we can't conclusively say what could be causing the haunting at the hotel. It's possible a previous owner, maybe even W.H. Gaskell himself, has returned and is dissatisfied with the way the building has been treated in recent years. Maybe some old guests are returning in a residual form, or maybe the ruins of the once magnificent building are an ideal home for energies and spirits lingering in the nearby woods. Hopefully, a night investigation will answer some of these questions. So I've just arrived at the Uplands Hotel at the moment. Had a little bit of a walk around just to check nobody else is sort of lurking in the shadows, and we are the only ones here. It is very creepy, although I don't get kind of a paranormal creepy sense about it at the moment. It is an old abandoned mansion and it's got a very creepy aesthetic about it. So I think the biggest thing for us tonight is just trying not to scare ourselves. It's the biggest problem. But yeah, we'll get going, go for a little walk around first and then try some interaction, see if we can get anything. We began the night investigation by returning to the cottage where James had experienced being touched on our day visit, and we all felt a very strong feeling there as well. Unfortunately, we can't completely validate the EVP we just captured, as I was moving through thick branches and ivy at the time, and it's possible that leaves or bits of debris had rubbed on either me or the camera, creating what sounds like a whispery voice. There was 2 more rooms down this back. What was that? What did you just say? No, I heard that. I heard a lady cough. I'm not even kidding you. I heard a lady just cough.
I'm panicking.
I don't like this.
I just heard a lady cough.
Where from behind you?
From in here somewhere.
Well, it wasn't me, because you'd have heard it on here.
No, I heard someone go, but like, it was a cough sneeze, something like that.
We'll have to look at the back now. Mate, you've got to come and look at these.
Right, everyone's staying still and quiet at the moment. Is anybody here with us? Could you make a noise?
It's just me moving.
Okay.
Could you say something? You're in one of these rooms?
I don't know if it's just like sound travelling from somewhere else, but I keep hearing like really, really faint, just like the tone of a woman like talking.
I don't know,
just like rambling on.
Cough. Is there a lady in here with us?
That's
Well, we don't mean you any harm coming here, we just come to visit. You knock on one of the walls? After a while, we decided to go back to the main hotel building and investigate there. Strangely enough, upon entering, none of us felt the same atmosphere as we had at the cottage, and despite our best efforts, we were unable to pick up on any activity, leading us to believe that the cottage, specifically the back rooms, was the focal point of the activity, and we decided to return there for the remainder of the night. Turn the torch off.
Which?
It's going to go solely on just what we can feel, and what we can see at the moment.
Okay.
Here we go.
What? No.
What?
Was-
It was just going off, yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't you turning it on.
No. Can you do that again, please? That was you? There's obviously no power to this building.
No, man. Even the light switches are all kicked out.
Exactly. Or could you speak to me in this box I've got in my right hand?
on this.
It's got insanely cold.
Okay.
Feels really uneasy in here.
Yeah, man. I felt the same when I was at the door.
You in here with us at the moment? Making noise? Well, try as hard as you can to speak into this.
I can hear walking about.
So we've just finished our investigation up at the Uplands Hotel, and I think all of us agree it's been a pretty interesting night.
Yeah.
It's not actually as active in a paranormal sense as I'd hoped it would be. Certainly very creepy, but not quite as haunted. Although there was one particular place we did manage to hone in on that did seem to have some weird stuff going on. So maybe we'll return in the future. Maybe it was just a quiet night for the whole thing tonight. We don't know. But we may return, and at least we know now where to sort of focus our efforts on. 6 months later, we all returned for another night investigation at the hotel. Due to recent storm damage, the buildings were in an even greater state of disrepair and were extremely dangerous in places. Luckily, the cottage had survived the worst of the damage, and we were able to get in there to investigate the back rooms where we'd experienced activity on our previous visit. First impressions about coming back?
It's really weird, man. As cold as it has been out there, I'm not feeling like cold, up like under my coat cold.
Yeah. Yeah, I really don't like it here.
I've got really weird feelings, man. Like really
There's
weird.
something not right in this room. This whole place. There's something not quite right. Right. Let's just try and call then. Is there anybody in this building with us?
I can smell like cider.
Cider.
I thought I could smell, yeah, like an appley.
Yeah.
But that might be someone's been.
I mean, I've
here.
got a fairly blocked nose and that's still quite strong.
I've got a cold, so I can't smell anything at the
I
moment.
can...
What's that? Is that a glass? It's like cider bottle or something like that.
But would we not have smelt cider when we came in?
We would have done. Did we smell alcohol last time when we came in? I don't remember.
No. We did it at the Glenford Silk Mill though, remember?
Oh yeah. That was it. I knew we'd been on an investigation where we smelled
Yeah.
things.
Getting to the point of almost like feeling sick, man.
I do as well.
Yeah.
Well, I've got like the shakes really. It's not because I'm cold, I've got the shakes because, I don't know, there's just something in the atmosphere that's not right.
Do you know what's really weird and probably not related at all? My initials are on the wall.
Fucking hell, they are as well. JP.
J-O-P.
That's a weird coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah, especially for this room.
Could you show yourself? We've placed a box down on the bed there with a green light. Can you interact with that? Can you make the lights turn on?
Just walk past it, or maybe try and touch it if you can.
So that this sort of weird energy that was here before is sort of gone.
I don't feel it now.
No, I don't.
Which is strange because you just thought in pitch black it would be more prominent.
It was weird because it felt like it heightened as we first went black, and now it's sort of dissipated.
Yeah, I don't really feel it now.
I feel like this bed is a more...
Whoa, 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 whoa. Thank you.
Yeah, it's happening again.
Are you able to make just the yellow light go on?
I've got a really bad headache on my left side. It's literally a pain in my head has just hit me.
That was up to yellow.
Wow. You try really hard just to hold it. Can you hold it on the yellow? But just to say, the amazing thing with that EMF meter going off is there's no power to this building.
That's on there.
And it's not like there's even a train going past at the minute.
No,
There's
it's the middle of nowhere. There's no reason for that to be going
And
off.
there's not any cars going past either.
No. No, there's nowhere nearby that could be setting that off.
That was a really unnatural fluctuation.
Well, it's the fact I said, can you make it go to yellow? And it went
Yeah.
to yellow, didn't it? It's amazing.
That was so weird as well. We were basically at the point of saying it feels like because the energy's died down.
Yeah.
But I
So
swear,
maybe that
literally,
energy dying down, was it then being culminated and then put through that?
Exactly. That's the thing. And could that be all it's got?
while it was happening, I was getting a really solid pain like on my left side of my forehead.
When that was going off?
Yeah. Like,
What were we doing just before that?
We were just
Yeah.
talking though, weren't we? Before that came on.
mm,
You went over to look at that windowsill, see what was
It's
making that.
because we weren't giving it any attention.
Do you reckon?
Oh, shit, that's really weird.
What?
Yeah, that sort of that's just gone massive since like nothing.
it is, it's like
Heart rate again.
Yeah.
pounding.
I don't know if maybe that's like a biological response to the energy being taken that it's then
There we go.
using.
Well,
Well, like I can't see a thing.
can you try and do that again for us, please? So make it go all the way to red, if you can.
Are you trying to get our attention?
Doesn't feel like particularly cold. Could you please, if there's any sort of, anyone here, could you come around and either lie on the bed or interact with this device again and make these lights turn on? Or even talking to this box? Use energy from the environment, anything you need to draw upon so you can light up these lights. Take as long as you need. It'd be really good to see any kind of result.
Left side of my head's starting to go.
I've got panicky again.
Yeah, I'm getting like back. It's happening again, man.
Yeah, I've just before you said that, I just thought, mate, my heart rate's going up.
Yeah. I'm sort of feeling more now that this might just be a residual thing. Or it's such like an old energy that it takes like a long time to
Yeah.
try and-
Build up.
Yeah.
Yeah, should we call it?
Well,
Yeah, there you go. Oh, so you're still here then?
I just got a really bad like my whole body
Well,
just.
here you go.
I'm
Well
seriously
done,
freaking
really
out.
good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about the EMF readings we recorded is that they appeared with no set pattern, and the fluctuations differed in intensity each time, something you would not expect to see if it was caused by something natural or electrical. Maybe what's most fascinating of all is that we could all sense a change in the environment before the EMF meter triggered, proving that the feelings we get on investigations are in some way linked to electromagnetism, and that our bodies can in fact sense the energy around us. Our investigations at the Uplands Hotel came to an end, and although we can't say for sure, we believe that whatever is haunting the site is more likely a residual energy or an echo of the past, with very limited intelligence and awareness of the modern world.